My name is Abel Bela Samari. The future of Cameroon is very bright, and that brightness can only be attained when we live as united people in a loving environment.
I am Fringwe Crispin. Unity is strength. When there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved.
My name is Kabiru Yusufa. Cameroon is the most blessed country on earth with over 250 ethnic groups. We must preserve our cultural diversity. We must preserve peace. We must preserve social cohesion.
Together, hand in hand, let us preserve the unity of our beautiful country, Cameroon.
This is a message from Royal FM, the listeners' radio.
Il est 14h.
Hein? Donc ce n'était pas les divers?
Bah oui! 0 francs les frais de transfert et 1% les frais de retrait vrai. Rends-toi sur Max It. Orange Money.
Subscribe to Masuk for a strong and prosperous economy.
The 2 p.m. newscast
with
Mapala Zita.
Wednesday, 1st of October 2025. Good afternoon, Yaoundé. Good afternoon, Cameroon. Good afternoon, Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this first edition of the 2 p.m. news on 88.4 Royal FM. My name is Mapala Zita. Coming up in this edition. Older persons driving local and global actions is focused on this year's edition of the International Day of Older Persons.
I see them as a great source of wisdom, experience, and guidance. They have gone through life in ways we are yet to. So I really value their advice and the lessons they share. I also believe older persons deserve respect, patience, and care. So I try to understand and support whenever I interact with them.
Plus, we bring you updates on what's happening with presidential hopefuls ahead of the October 12 polls. Out of Cameroon, South Africa's opposition leader Julius Malema has been convicted for discharging firearms. And in sports, we will talk gymnastics and football. Ladies and gentlemen, those were the headlines.
2025 presidential election, a special page in the news.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2 p.m. news on Royal FM. We are now 5 days into the presidential elections campaign with some major political party candidates attempting to convince voters nationwide to vote for them. Evans Williams and Jobati, you complete that story.
Yes, Zita, we start with the CPDM, where the Deputy Secretary General at the presidency, Muhammadu Mustafa, has called the electorate in the Adamawa region to massively vote for Paul Biya on October 12, 2025, and not yield to distractions by adventurers. From there, the ruling party will continue to hold rallies in other parts of the country with aims of renewing trust in their natural candidate Paul Biya.
The only man who will guarantee the peace in this country is the President Paul Biya.
We are now facing those who yesterday were with us and the commitment of the people to come back to the right path.
After going through a lot of difficulties with his campaign rally in Ebolova town, candidate Bello Buba Maigari was on the coming to a road where he called on his UNDP supporters to give meaningful development by voting for him, and will be moving to Garwa with aspirations of attracting more voters in the North region. On rather very contrasting news, PAL's national president, Professor Kumvondo, has expressed feelings of disappointment via candidate Akere Muna's decision to back down from the race and support Bello Buba Maigari during the 2025 presidential polls. He made this public in a communique yesterday where he officially withdrew his and his party's support for the lawyer. As for Issa Chiroma Bakari, he laid emphasis on the need for national reconciliation and improved livelihoods for citizens. The FNSC candidate made these words yesterday while in the town of Yagua in the far north region of Cameroon, where he reminded the population of their voting rights, as well as declared that no sacrifice was too great to achieve his goals. In the same vein, Joshua Osei's SDF has been consistent in the West region with targets being the inhabitants of the Upper Plateau, Menua and Bamutus divisions, with stops in Baham, Batie, Bamenju, Bamenseng, Peka, Michel and Bacham.
We are in a proximity campaign, so as many stops as possible, the better. Change is necessary, and what the SDF candidate Joshua is bringing is a systemic change.
Meanwhile, Cabral Libi of the PCRN will continue his campaign process in Bafia in the central region after previously visiting the east and the littoral regional capitals, Zita.
And as the campaigns are currently making headlines, Evans UC presidential aspirants' slogans are also in the race to Etudi.
Yes, Zita, moving around the capital city and beyond, it is very common to see slogans such as Paul Biya, greatness and power, Cabral Libi, succeed together, Hiram 25, our time has come, or even Joshua Osei's rescue Cameroon on every signboard, electric pole and what have you. But these slogans are not just for fantasy, but rather reflect the candidate's ideology to gaining voters' voice at the polls. Barrister Ayuko Tang Ntep is a lawyer and an advocate who details out on the validation process.
Electoral campaigns on TV and radio gives all the candidates whose candidature has been retained by the competent authority to go about their campaigns. They can make flyers, make posters, send out information. But this information posters must be subjected to control to ELECAM, here the general electorate. Candidates deposit their information, their flyers, their projects to the general electorate that examines in order to control that this information that is to be sent out does not violate standards, and such standards as may provoke violence or may incite people into acts of violence or may undermine the territorial integrity or the republican form of the state of Cameroon. Once this information has been subjected for control, it is the general electorate that controls it and is sure that, okay, this information is good for public consumption. It endorses, therefore, is that endorsement that gives the different candidates, parties, to go ahead and make public that information through the TV or radio medium.
It should be noted that some days back, candidate Pierre Nkwemo of the UMS party accused incumbent Paul Biya of stealing his campaign slogan alignment, which states people's choice and voice of hope. Zita.
Evans, before you go, you have updates from the Cameroon's electoral body that is actively preparing for the October 12 polls.
While chairing the third ordinary session of the body's electoral council, Dr. Eno Abrams Egbe mentioned their state of readiness at the approach of the two vital electoral processes in some days.
Our calendar of activities is extremely busy as we are organizing two elections simultaneously. Yet, our August chamber must ensure that regular operations continue uninterrupted. For this reason, our third ordinary session will essentially be devoted to examining and adopting the draft budget for ELECAM, as well as the Electoral Board's special appropriations for the 2026 financial year. During our deliberations, we must therefore bear in mind that 2026 will be another intense yet challenging electoral year. In the same vein, we shall also monitor the implementation of the Electoral Board suggestions by the Director General of Elections this far. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are all aware, the presidential election campaign began 3 days ago as stipulated under Section 87 of the Electoral Code.
Also, Elecam's headquarters in Yaoundé, at Elecam's headquarters in Yaoundé, the board's chairperson announced that all materials were already in the various constituencies nationwide, as well as the reception of some international observers in the days ahead. Dr. Eno Abrams Egbe once again.
One of the items on today's agenda is to examine and adopt the terms of reference for the next field trip of the electoral board members across the branch offices. This trip is aimed at supervising both the campaigns and the election proper to ensure compliance with the recently adopted Code of Good Conduct and the electoral law by all stakeholders of the electoral process. Secondly, we shall ensure that the necessary organizational measures are in place to guarantee the smooth organization of the presidential election in all constituencies. Following our recent visit to the various logistics sites where election materials and documents are produced and packaged, we can confirm that all materials have now been dispatched to the field. I would like to seize this opportunity to congratulate the Director General of Elections on his foresight and encouragement and the dynamism of our operational staff. Once again, bravo.
And noting that this falls in conformity with the electoral code, has pushed Minister Paul Atanganji of Territorial Administration to request for the strict respect of this law. Take a listen to him in this excerpt.
Elecam is an independent organ in charge with everything which has to do with the material organization of the presidential election, as well as the other elections, local elections, parliamentary elections, regional elections. The administration is there to accompany the process so that Elecam can organize the elections in a hitch-free environment. Another confusion that we must avoid, we have 12 candidates officially declared to participate in the presidential election. So in all polling stations, we'll have 12 ballot papers representing all the candidates. The private arrangements that people will do left and right, that there's one candidate or a unique candidate or a candidate of consensus or whatever it is, it has nothing to do with Elecam. We say that as for now, we have 12 declared candidates. Elecam has printed 12 ballot papers, and the ballot papers will be present in all polling stations. And I'm talking about the 360 administrative units, subdivisions.
2025 presidential election, that was our special page in the news.
And still to come in this newscast, ladies and gentlemen, today, October 1st, marks the beginning of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, dubbed Pink October.
What I do is I breastfeed my child for long and to make sure that there are no lumps in the breast, and I always frequently touch it. And if in case I feel any lumps, I can just go to the hospital.
Really know something concerning the breast cancer, how to prevent it.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, you are listening to the 2 p.m. news on Royal FM and watching us live on Facebook and YouTube at Royal FM Cameroon. Cameroon joins the world today, October the 1st, to celebrate the International Day of Older Persons on the theme, Older Persons Driving Local and Global Actions, Our Aspirations, Our Well-Being and Our Rights. In our newscast, Cameroonians share their perception on elderly persons and how they relate with them. Take a listen to some of them in this Vox Pop compiled by our reporter, Ngang Nadej.
My name is Narita. I think they are honored for their wisdom. The way they really give in the energy society is something to admire. Talking with them, it actually flows. You feel like you have been heard, understood, comforted, and actually pour out your soul. You see the purest form of love. My grandfather and grandmom is still alive, and whenever you visit, you feel like you are going home.
I am Mafo Courage. Other persons are also carriers of tradition and culture, preserving family history and social value. I relate with them by listening attentively, showing genuine interest in their stories and experience, sharing my experiences with them. My grandparents are still alive, and being with my grandparents evokes sense of warmth, comfort, and security. My name is Precious. I see them as a great source of wisdom, experience, and guidance. They have gone through life in ways we are yet to, so I really value their advice and the lessons they share. I also believe other persons deserve respect, patience, and care, so I try to understand and support whenever I interact with them. And yes, I have grandparents, and being around them feels very enriching and is very cool.
And as the world comes together to celebrate the International Day of Older Persons, we narrowed down to Cameroon to examine how older people are treated and cared for. Our reporter Ngang Nade spoke with an expert who shared their perception on the challenges faced by older adults in Cameroon and potential solutions to support them.
The condition of older persons in Cameroon is rather paradoxical. While they command immense traditional respect and reverence in society, the institutional support systems often fall short in catering to their needs. Eva Etonge Mayer is a civil society activist.
The condition of older persons in Cameroon is a paradox. While traditional families' values still mandate respect and care for the elderly, institutional support is weak, leaving a significant portion of this population exposed to precarity. So many older persons face old age with little to no formal pension, forcing them to remain economically active or rely entirely on their children.
According to her, many older persons in Cameroon face significant challenges living in poverty, residing in substandard housing, and facing a healthcare system that provides inadequate support.
A significant portion of them, especially in rural areas, live in poverty. This manifests as insecurity and struggle to meet basic needs, often living in dilapidated or unhealthy housing. High costs and limited access to quality health care, particularly for chronic and age-related conditions like hypertension, diabetes, and geriatric syndromes. They lack a comprehensive universal health coverage or specialized geriatric insurance, leaving many older persons choosing between treatment and other necessities.
The expert further highlights the need for measures such as the creation of special pension funds by the government, particularly for private sector workers, to ensure financial security for older persons.
The government or the state must explore mechanisms to providing a minimum old age allowance for citizens who work in the informal sector and did not qualify for CNPS pension, subsidize and encourage adherence to CNPS voluntary insurance scheme for informal sector workers.
The civil society activist concludes by emphasizing the importance of supporting older persons through awareness campaigns on prevalent illnesses, as well as integrating them into society to ensure they feel valued and have opportunities to contribute.
The government must further study the implementation of a universal, even modest old age solidarity allowance for non-pension older persons, establish specialized geriatric centers in referral hospitals. Their social contribution must be valued, support home care assistance mechanism, increase public awareness to fight against age-related stigma, and strengthen intergenerational solidarity.
According to the United Nations Development Programme, approximately 4 in below the national poverty line. And according to the World Health Organization, the number of people aged 60 and above is expected to double by 2050, reaching 2.1 billion.
Ngang Nade in that report. And on the occasion of the celebration of the International Day of Elder Persons, Cameroon's Minister of Social Affairs, Pauline Irene Guéné, highlights the importance of such a celebration in the country. Let's listen to her in this excerpt selected for us by Ngang Nade.
This day serves as a powerful reminder of our collective responsibility to ensure that older people can live their final years with dignity, security, and support. It also aims to raise public awareness on the challenges faced by older persons around the world, while highlighting their invaluable contribution to our societies. In many cultures, older persons occupy a central place. They are the custodians of memory, the guardians of traditions, and the wise guides of our communities. The celebration of this day reminds us the essential role they play in social cohesion. It is also an opportunity to highlight the challenges associated with demographic aging, combat the exclusion of older persons, and promote initiatives that foster their well-being and independence in Cameroon and elsewhere.
From one celebration to another, today, October the 1st, marks the start of the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, known as Pink October. The global campaign event, or rather each October, has as aim to raise awareness and promote early detection, prevention, and access to treatment for breast cancer. In this light, our reporter Fringwe Crispin interviewed some Cameroonians to find out the different things they do to prevent breast cancer and compiled their views in this Vox Pop.
Do I actually do anything? Most of the time I just feel the breast. I just massage it to see if there are any lumps. I just touch it like that to feel. So what I do is I breastfeed my child for long and to make sure that there are no lumps in the breast, and I always frequently touch it. And if in case I feel any lumps, I can just go to the hospital.
One, need to be neat. Need to bathe at least 2 times a day. Clean your nipples from time to time, and then you change your bra, because wearing the same bra like 1-2 weeks is really not advisable. So you change your bra from time to time, and you massage your breast to check if there are any lumps so that I can go for check.
I don't really know something concerning the breast cancer, how to prevent it. I don't really know.
I try in my own level, in my own corner, to share tips on how to prevent breast cancer. I try, when I see a post that is helpful online, I share. Then at my own level, I just normally do the massage that they always talk of. You do the massage constantly, like 2 to 3 times in a week. And if you find any lump, you rush to the hospital. So far, so good. I've not found any lump. I should say I am healthy, and I try to eat healthy as well.
According to the World Health Organization, 23% of breast cancer cases are preventable if each individual adopts a healthy lifestyle and carry out regular screening. Fringwe Crispin spoke to a health expert and now reports.
Mangafo Kore, she's a state-registered nurse. Senior nurse, she reveals that the most effective way to prevent breast cancer is to visit the hospital often.
In order to prevent breast cancer, women are encouraged to go for regular screenings. Women aged 40 and older should have annual mammograms, while those with a family history need to start earlier.
Aside from regular screening, it is important to carry out some self-exams at home once a month.
Self-breast exams can help women become familiar with their breast and notice any changes. An example can be in the presence of a lump in the breast.
Moreover, the health expert calls on women to quit smoking and adopt a healthy lifestyle in order to avoid breast cancer and other health issues.
Smoking is linked to various cancers, including breast cancer. Quitting smoking can improve overall health. And also, these women should practice a healthy lifestyle by taking a balanced diet. Focus on diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and limit processed foods and saturated fats. Maintaining a healthy weight, thus obesity can increase risks of breast cancer.
According to the World Health Organization, WHO, in 2022, there were an estimated 669,418 deaths from breast cancer, with a disproportionate number of these deaths occurring in low-resource settings.
In more health-related news, the Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manauda Malachi, has sounded an alarm against the misuse of Ozempic, an injectable medication used in managing type 2 diabetes, which is recently being used by some unskilled individuals for weight loss on their clients. The minister warns that perpetrators of such acts, which has far-reaching consequences on the population, will be brought to book when caught. On that note, our newsroom sought the expertise of a nutritionist who talks on safe weight loss methods. Take a listen to Nga Estela.
We have ways like eating more fruits and vegetables, eating lean meat. We have meat from fish, cow, and then when we talk of lean meat, we mean meat that don't have fats in them, because we know when you are taking meat that have fats, will still go and increase the fats in your system. You should do more exercise. We have running, we have recycling, you can do swimming, you can even have a walk, just walking 30 to 45 minutes a day. You can also stay hydrated, that means drink plenty of water throughout the day. You can replace the sugary things that we drink every day, replace it with water. Putting lemon, you can put cucumber in your water, you can put mint, take it, replace it, and you drink the water daily. And you can also practice intermittent fasting. We also have natural fat burners like ginger, we have cayenne pepper, we have cinnamon and cloves.
Nga Estela further expatiates on the dangers of taking pills and injections during a weight loss journey.
Some take drugs, some take pills, some take injections to lose weight. Some of the consequences, we have nutrients deficiency, which means that some of the nutrients that you are supposed to have in your system, you might not have them because it will interfere with the nutrient absorption in your system, leading to deficiency in that particular nutrient. It can also lead to side effects like nausea, we have vomiting, we have diarrhea, and we have insomnia. You can take some and you not even sleep. And you also have some long-term effects that can increase the risk of chronic diseases, like maybe the heart diseases, we have stroke, and we can also have cancers when you take some of these things. You can also have mental health issues like depression and other mental health concerns that you can come because of these things that we take.
On to education, teachers in Cameroon will join their peers worldwide to celebrate the International Teachers' Day on October the 5th, 2025 under the theme Recasting Teaching as a Collaborative Profession. Prior to this event, staff and teachers of Ministries of Secondary and Basic Education organized a sports walk on September the 27th to launch activities marking the day. 4 days to the International Teachers' Day, Glory Ngange interviewed some teachers on their level of preparedness and compiled their responses in this report.
In order to have a remarkable celebration of the 31st edition of the World Teachers' Day, educators are gearing up at individual levels. This is the case of Ndineris.
Personally, I'm writing a short message of appreciation for my fellow teachers to share on the day and planning to attend any professional development or inspirational session available. I'm also reflecting on my teaching journey, the challenges, the progress, and the students who have inspired me.
In some schools, both the staff and students are plunged into full-time preparations to celebrate teachers and their profession, Dineris and Edwin Musa attest.
At my school, students are working on performances and decorations. We are organizing a small celebration where teachers will be honored with thank you messages and awards. There is also a plan for a staff lunch.
Teachers are contributing to 2,000 francs at least, and each teacher tells the choice of their drink. We intend to meet on that day and drink and celebrate the teacher for the great work they are doing in building the society.
On his part, Julius Neba intends to use the celebration as a moment of reflection on his career path.
I am happy to be a teacher, to have been in the field for long, to have grown up in the teaching ladder from crash to where I am now. I don't think a teacher should be celebrated in a particular day, but I use that day always to reflect on what I put into my work as a teacher, how to improve my worth as a teacher, how the community think about me, and how my learners and my school take me as a teacher.
As the World Teachers' Day approaches with activities scheduled to mark the event across the country, educators are still decrying the unfavorable conditions of their profession. Julius Neba once again.
I still believe that the teacher has not been given the central role in the nation building. They are not really empowered. I still see schools in this same Yaoundé where the cost of living is super skyrocketed and the standard of living is a crash. There's schools paying teachers 40,000. The government is doing little or nothing to come in and curb this cankerworm that is eating deep into the core.
The theme of the 2025 World Teachers' Day, Recasting Teaching as a Collaborative Profession, highlights the need for teamwork and collaboration among education stakeholders.
Out of Cameroon without transition, former DR Congo President Joseph Kabila has been sentenced to death in absentia for war crimes and treason. The charges concern accusations that Kabila has been supporting M23 rebels who have wreaked devastation across the country's eastern region. South Africa's opposition politician Julius Malema has been found guilty of discharging firearms, an offense which carries a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison. 7 years ago, the economic freedom fighter leader was seen in a video firing several shots in the air during his party's 5th anniversary celebration in the country's Eastern Cape province. Malema's conviction was pronounced in court yesterday, while his former bodyguard Adrian Snyman was acquitted. On to sports, we are going to begin with gymnastics, where Cameroon is in camp for their first ever World Championship in Indonesia. Biwa Brian completes that story.
Cameroon's Gymnastics Federation, FECAGYM, is on the cusp of a historic moment, preparing for its debut at the 53rd FIG Artistic Gymnastics World Championship in Jakarta, Indonesia. The global event is set to kick off on October 19 and run on to the 25th of October, marking the first time a Southeast Asian nation is hosting the prestigious competition. Ahead of the competition, the president of the Cameroon Gymnastics Federation, Annie-Fleur Yekel, confirmed that the team has been in intensive preparations for the past 2 months with focus on physical conditioning, technical skill mastery, mental toughness, and focus. The championship, which features individual competitions in men's and women's artistic gymnastics, will host about 86 nations, and for Cameroon, it will serve as a vital platform to gain international experience and potentially secure much-needed visibility funding. Annie-Fleur Yekel, president of the Cameroon Gymnastics Federation.
The Cameroon Gymnastics Federation is preparing for the World Championship since 2 months. The gymnasts are working very hard in the different apparatus. You know, it's not like African Championships, and it's the first time for them to be in world competitions. So they also have to prepare themselves physically, of course, but also mentally, because it will be a different level of competition. They know that they have to be concentrated and to do all the best in all apparatus that they will have to work. The internal stage will start in a few time, and it will be to perform all what they learn, to ameliorate and to perform their skill. I think that they are mentally ready and they want to do their best to show what Cameroonian can do in gymnastics.
And in women's football, Cameroon's under-17 Lionesses had their farewell game yesterday ahead of this year's World Cup in Morocco.
The Baby Lionesses wrapped up their final preparation for the World Cup with a valuable goalless draw against the senior women's national team made up of home-based players. The results serve as a crucial benchmark for the junior side ahead of the 2025 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Morocco, which kicks off on October 17. The Lionesses, coached by coach Joseph Doko Brian, have been placed in a challenging Group B, alongside a formidable opponents like they will face off against South Korea, who will be participating for the 8th time, including Mexico and debutants Netherlands. Ebako Rene, who observed the farewell encounter, noted the immense pressure on the young squad, stating their performance showed commendable defensive discipline and fighting spirit.
I think the under-17 Lionesses displayed a very mature game, but there are some lapses they need to work on. We witnessed a very complicated offensive compartment. We noticed that the girls weren't very vibrant as they used to be back in the qualifiers. And the likes of Tiwaris Fresh, who faced some difficulties from the mature Lionesses. But I think Coach Doko is on a good one, because immediately he witnessed these lapses, he immediately come in Kusa. We know Leman Kusa of Eclair that had a good season. She had to change the offensive midfield, in which she was able to bring balls between the lines and serve the attack compartment. So just some little lapses, as well as the goalkeeping aspect that has to be put into consideration, because we noticed that the goalkeeper herself lacked some concentration. She made out some errors which were not really considered, because in a serious match like that of the World Cup, a very swift attacker will take the least opportunity and net it as a goal. So just add a little aspect that Koentoko would have to work on, if should in case he has some friendly games to play back in Morocco.
Brian, match day 2 of the UEFA Champions League continues today with 9 games.
The highlight fixture of the day will be the game between Barcelona and the defending champions Paris Saint-Germain at 8 p.m. in Spain. Other games will see Qarabağ face off against Copenhagen at 8 p.m. Union Saint will face off against Newcastle in Belgium. Arsenal will face off against Olympiacos at the Emirates Stadium in London. AS Monaco will face off against Manchester City in Monaco. Bayer Leverkusen will go for PSV Eindhoven at the Bay Arena in Germany. Borussia Dortmund will face off against Athletic Club. Napoli will face off against Sporting CP, while Villarreal will face off against Juventus at 8 p.m.
Now time for me to welcome Doreen Bimi into the studio with a summary of this newscast in the French language. Bon après-midi, Doreen.
Good afternoon, Mapalazita. En société, ce 1er octobre est Journée mondiale des personnes âgées, une occasion d'interroger le rapport et la qualité des relations entretenues par les jeunes avec cette catégorie sociale. Toujours en société, le ministre de la Santé publique, Manaouda Malachi, alerte sur la consommation de certains produits amincissants, mais commercialisés dans les marchés impropres, avec des potentielles conséquences sur le plan sanitaire. Sur la scène internationale en RDC, l'ancien président Joseph Kabila, condamné à mort, il a été reconnu coupable d'être le leader de l'AFC M23 par la justice congolaise ce mardi 30 septembre 2025, rendu responsable de tous les crimes commis par le groupe rebelle dans l'est du pays. Puis en sport, le FC Barcelone PSG blessé en pagaille, pas de coup de mou, en choc au rabais en Ligue des Champions. Le duel, c'est ce mercredi 1er octobre en Ligue des Champions, 20h, heure du Cameroun.
And it is with that summary in the French language that we draw the curtains on today's edition of the 2 p.m. news on Royal FM. We received technical assistance from Irish Ikemwe. Brian Bida took care of the cameras for our Facebook Live. Production assistance, Biwa Brian. Script editing and editorial coaching, Abel Bella Samari. Central coordination, Roger Kiek, our station manager. And general supervision by the Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel Noel. For news editing and presentation, my name is Mapalazita. Thank you all for your kind attention, and do have a pleasant afternoon and a wonderful month of October in the company of programs over Royal FM. Up next is Sports Hour. Biwa Brian, good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon again, Mapalazita.
Sports Hour, what should we expect for today?
We are going to look at the various CAF interclub competitions. We are currently at the preliminary rounds, that is the qualifiers. And already we have two of our Cameroonian clubs who have been booted out of the competition. FC Boloa, who were supposedly supposed to qualify for the first ever time for the Women's CAF Champions League, lost on the very last day and lost a ticket. Aigle Royal of Meno equally lost. And then we have Colombe Sportif, the only club still left in the race to qualify for the CAF Champions League. And notably, Zita, Colombe Sportif now is the first team since 2022 to at least reach the second qualifying round of the CAF Champions League. We'll have this and other picks in today's edition of Spotter.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned and stay blessed.